You start a company with exactly 2.4 million Ghanaian cedi. After 6 months, he's joined by Essie, who contributes exactly 3 million Ghanaian cedi. 2 months later, Yo and Essie are joined by Kwasi, who contributes 3.3 million cedi. They agreed to share the profits as follows. So with 20% profit to Yo, so they're sharing the profits. 20% profit to Yo as the manager of the company. 4% of the profits will go to Kwasi, is the assistant manager. The rest of the profits will then be shared. So now we have the rest of the profits will then be shared in the ratio of the product of their capital in the company. So we're going to take the ratio, okay, the ratio of the product of their capital in the company, okay, but not only the ratio, but the ratio of the product of the capital in the company. Take the product and the time. So we're going to take the ratio of the product of their capital in the time elapsing since each of them joined the company. Since each of them joined the company, okay, that's what the question says there. If the profit at the end of the first year after Yo had started the company is 1,005,000 Ghanaian cedi, we need to calculate the total amount received by each of the three partners of the company. Okay, we start. The best way to do this question is to begin by drawing a timeline. So we're going to draw a timeline. And now if you draw then the timeline, you draw it like this. At the beginning, it's going to be exactly time 0, then time 1, then time 2, time 3, time 4, time 5, time 6, time 7, time 8, time 9, time 10, time 11, time 12. And at the beginning, we know that, let me go back to the question to make sure that we're on the same page there. Yo starts the company with 2.4 million Ghanaian cedi. So in the beginning, Yo begins the company with exactly that amount of money. So how much does Yo put in? So Yo puts in 2.4 million. 2.4 million Ghanaian cedi. That is Yo here. And we continue. We just recap to make sure that we have the correct information. After 6 months, he's joined by Essie, who contributes 3 million Ghanaian cedi. That's after 6 months. So after 6 months, we have this gentleman coming who contributes, that's Essie, who contributes exactly 3 million. Exactly 3 million Ghanaian cedi. And is here and there at the beginning. Okay? And we continue. Right now, we go back. Okay. 2 months later, Yo and Essie are joined by Kwasi, who contributes 3.3 million Ghanaian cedi. That's 2 months later. That takes us to the 8th month of the year. And Kwasi contributes exactly 3.3 million. Kwasi. And so that's exactly 3.3 million Ghanaian cedi. That's Kwasi, obviously, who does that contribution. And he puts it forward. And obviously, we'll continue analyzing the question together. They agreed to share the profits as follows: 20% to Yo, and as manager of the company, 4% to Kwasi as assistant manager. The rest of the profits will then be shared in the ratio of the product of their capital in the company and the time. So we're going to multiply the product of their capital in the company. We're going to get the ratio of the product of their capital and the time. Okay, since each of them joined the company there. If the profit at the end of the first year, after you had started the company, is 1,005,000 Ghanaian cedi, you need to calculate the total amount received by each of the partners of the company. Okay, so right now, we just take note of the times that each of the investments will remain in the for the duration of the time until the end of the year. Because if you look at this question, they're effectively saying if the profit at the end of the first year, so we're looking at the profit at the end of the first year, is exactly after you started the company, it's exactly 1,005,000 Ghanaian cedi. So you'll realize therefore that this starts here and goes there. And then you'll also realize that from the 6th month, in other words, you will have these investments for 12 months. And then now in the 6th month, from the 6th month for AC. So in other words, AC's contribution will actually stay with the company for a duration of 6 months, because it was in the 6th month of the year that the contribution was made. And then we also have a contribution by Kwasi from the 8th month. Kwasi is from the 8th month to the end. And Kwasi will therefore be, in this case, if I maybe change the color here and use black, maybe not black, let me use blue. Okay, Kwasi will then have the investment there for 4 months. Kwasi's investment will then be there for a period of 4 months. Okay, now we proceed as follows. So we proceed to analyze this part of the question, where they said the rest of the profits will be shared in the ratio of the product of their capital in the company and the time. Ratio of the product of the capital and the time. So this ratio will therefore be the ratio that's required. Okay. What is this ratio? The ratio will therefore be the contribution by Yo of 2.4 million. But this, as we indicated above, is going to be there for a period of 12 months for Yo. And then for the second person, for SC, whose contribution is exactly 3 million Ghanaian cedi, but it's going to remain there for a period of 6 months until the end of the year, until the end of the first year. And then now we have this one, 3.3 million times 4. That is what we get there. Obviously, the 3.3 million is by Kwasi. If you multiply all this, it becomes exactly 28.8 million. The ratio with 18 million And then now it will be 13 million. All right, so this is what we get. And this is therefore the same as if you simplify this, it becomes 24, 15, and 11. Here I've basically divided these by 1.2 million to simplify this. Divided each of the segments of the ratio by 1.2 million. Okay. And then now we've found the ratio of their capital with or the ratio of their capital and the product. And the product is this said, okay, and the product of their capital in the company and the time. All right. Since each of them joined the company. If the profit at the end of the first year after you started the company is 1,005,000, you calculate total amount received by each of the three partners of the company. Okay, but I want you to remember that they agreed to share the profit as follows: 20% to you as manager of the company and 4% to Kwasi as assistant manager of the company. The rest of the profits will then be shared obviously in the ratio. So, we agree therefore that from the total profits, 20%, which is 20% divided by 100, or 20% is 20 divided by 100, and then 4% will actually be removed here, and this will then be the difference, and we get the remainder. We multiply it by 1.5 or 1,005,000 Kanaya and Sedi, and this is 763. Okay, so what we have done here, we have looked at this part of the question, and this part of the question is saying 20% to you of the, as manager of the company and 4% to Kwasi is assistant manager. The rest of the profits will then be shared in the ratio. So in other words, we're looking at the rest of these profits now. The rest of these profits are obtained by removing 20% for you and removing 4% for Kwasi. Okay, so this is what we get. And these are the rest of the profits. So now we're going to look at Yo's share. Yo's share is 763. Multiplied by 24 to 50. Okay, where do we get that? So obviously the 24 is Yo's share. So now we take 24 from the ratio and divide by the sum of all the components, the three components of the ratio. Okay, so at the end of the day, to get the share for Yo, and that becomes 366. 624. That is Yo's share. And then we're going to look at S's share. S's share will be 763,800. Okay, if you look at LC, LC is actually in the middle, and in the ratio here is 15 out of 50. 15 out of 50. And if you multiply these, what you get is 229,140. And we continue to look at the next one. to look at Kwasi's share. Kwasi's share is 763 multiplied by, all right, if you look at Kwasi is actually the last one, 11 in the ratio. So 11 out of 50, 168. 168,036. That is Kwasi's share. And obviously was doing these calculations in Ghanaian cedi. Now there's something therefore for Yo's share. Okay. Yo's share, sort of the total, is 0.2 into 1 million plus 366,624. And that is 567,624. So for Yo, we've taken therefore the 20% of the profits plus the result we got from the ratio. Okay, so this is the total. So in other words, this one is Yo's share. Yo's share, and it is the total. Okay. Now we continue to find S's share. S's share. The total. Okay, so obviously we know very well that SC does not get the percentage at the beginning as the rest. So S's share, it's just going to come from the ratios, which is 229, 140. Then we have the next one, which is Kwasi. Kwasi's share. The total. Obviously, from the total profits, Kwasi as assistant manager should get 4%. 4% from the total profits of 1,005,000 Ghanaian cedi. But we need to add 168,036, which is Kwasi's share. Kwasi's share, the total. So it's going to get 4% from the total profits of 1,005,000 Ghanaian cedi plus the result from the ratios. And what that gives us is going to get 208, 236 if you add all these. So in other words, Kwasi is going to get these total in Ghanaian cedi, Ghanaian Cedi, and SC is also going to get this in Ghanaian Cedi. It's going to get 229,140 in Ghanaian Cedi. Now you have your, he's going to get the most as the manager in Ghanaian Cedi. Okay, we make the effort to check the answer and the correctness of the answer. So to check this answer, check answer. Check answer will be 567 624 plus 229 140 plus 208 236, and this is exactly it's exactly 1,005,000 Ghanaian Cedi, and this is the total profit. Which is the total profit. And so, and therefore this confirms the correctness of the answer, that if we actually add the total amounts obtained by each of them at the end of the year, of the first year, we get the total profits that the company was able to achieve. Okay, so thanks then everybody, a goodbye to you. And obviously, just to cross check if we answered the question correctly, just to read again the question. Yo starts a company with 2.4 million Ghanaian Cedi. After 6 months is joined by S, who contributes 3 million Ghanaian Cedi. 2 months later, Yo and S are joined by Kwasi, who contributes 3.3 million Ghanaian Cedi. They agreed to share the profits as follows: 20% to Yo as manager of the company, 4% to Kwasi as assistant manager. The rest of the profits will then be shared in the ratio of the product of their capital in the company and the time elapsing since each of them joined the company. If the profit at the end of the first year after Yo had started the company is 1,005,000 Ghanaian Cedi, we need to calculate the total amount received by each of the 3 partners. Okay, total amount received by each of the 3 partners of the company. Okay, the total amounts is indicated. The 3 totals will be Yo, which is 567,624. For SC will be 229,140, and for Kwasi the total is going to be exactly 208,236. And if you add all these 3, you get exactly the total profits the company achieved, which is 1,005,000 Ghanaian Cedi. Thanks everybody. A goodbye to you.